What's up, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of Web3 Coffee Road to a Billion series, where we look for the first dApp that's going to hit a billion users. Earlier this week, I had the privilege of hearing from Jesse, who's part of the Coinbase leadership and looks at the base layer solution. In his talk, which I'm going to kind of have up here on the side in a second, he mentions something quite interesting. So let's go ahead and listen to it.
Up on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Folks are building startups. It feels a lot more like Silicon Valley, maybe a lot more like this right here. And really the thing that we heard again and again is that people are excited about accessing the global economy and bringing capital in to help them bootstrap their ideas. And there's actually folks here in the room who came from India to Singapore, came from India to here because of that idea. The idea that we can build bigger than a single country, we can build for this global economy, and the level of ambition and hunger from builders in Bangalore kind of like took me aback. And now, as a result of that, it's actually our top focus for 2025 in terms of where we're focused on supporting builders.
And I think that's what's super exciting, right, about crypto for people in the developing world. It gives them access to global capital markets to kind of bootstrap and grow their idea even further. I think this was echoed in a recent tweet by one of the leading voices on Solana, Akshay BD. I'm going to put up that tweet over here, but basically, what I think is the most interesting is this part where he says, as security laws eases up, all kinds of new assets will come on chain. And, you know, I've always been a big believer in the value of crypto being the new asset classes that can come from the on-chain economy. And over here, he says that this is particularly important in growing but hard to access markets like Vietnam. And this week's episode, I'm looking at content creation in the Web3 world and content creators in particular. And I think this is super relevant for content creators because a content creator in Vietnam right now has to use these centralized platforms to access global capital markets. And there's, tons of fees associated with that. There's several other issues we can get into. But crypto really enables a new way of micro content creators accessing global markets. The last thing I'll reference before I get started on this week's topic is another tweet by someone from Naval's team at AirChat, Arjun Khemani. And here he links a video about Chamath talking about where content creation is set to go in the next few years. And I mean, I think it's a fantastic video he's linked here. So we'll just quickly listen to the video and then we'll get started.
Probabilistically answer where are we going in apps and social experiences? What I would say is, Lex, we spent the first decade building platforms and getting them to scale. Was trillions of dollars, essentially to Apple and to Google. Then this next wave were the apps, Facebook, QQ, Tencent, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat. They were in many ways an atomized version of the platforms. Trillions of dollars of enterprise value, billions of monthly active users. Well, there's an interesting phenomenon that's kind of hiding in plain sight. The next most obvious atomic unit are content creators. And you guys are going to approach in the next 5 years, 1 billion people. The only thing that you guys haven't figured out yet is how to capture trillions of dollars of value. You guys are atomizing what the apps have done. You're providing your own curated news feeds. You're providing your own curated communities, and value is accruing to you. So the honest answer to your question is I would focus on the content creator side of things because I believe that's where the puck is going. That's a much more important shift in how we all consume information and content and are entertained.
So let's get started. Before we get on the app itself, I thought we can take a look at some of the relating materials. So first up, I'm going to open up dApp Radar here just to show you what kind of numbers these guys are seeing. Now look, there's a topic in the VC world about companies that raise too much capital too early on, and that being more of a curse than a blessing. And unfortunately, I think a lot of the early apps we saw back in the last bull run, 2021, 22, they were, cursed with too much capital and they've struggled to get their token price back. Unfortunately, Chingari is one of them. But with that said, they've still managed, as you can see here, to stay in the top 25 on the dApp Radar page, which is a pretty strong signal of some decent activity. Here we have their blurb, leading short video app and Web3 social network. But the main idea is that content creators and content consumers can benefit from Web3 technologies to both give more value to the creator as well as make it more rewarding for the viewer or the end user. So I thought we can check out some of their related pages quickly before we get started. Okay, so first up, I just want to take a quick look at their token price. Obviously, this doesn't really, it shouldn't be very relevant to us when judging how used or good the app is, but I just want to show you earlier when they launched, peak of the bull run, they were seeing 60 million in volume. I mean, their token price was up almost 60x to what it is today. So, it's obviously tough maintaining momentum after, launching in a bull and going to a bear. So now I thought we'd just look quickly at their network or protocol stack. And you see here it says, by utilizing Gari tokens, creators can earn revenues through tips, exclusive content, and staking pools. Platform supports live streaming, audio chats, and text chats. So it's like, I don't know, without seeing the app, it's almost like a Twitch meets Clubhouse. Here we see their 4 founders. And it's interesting. They actually started off with a $300,000 grant from Solana. So, Solana has been working at the builder level for a long time. That's pretty impressive. And then what's interesting is they did a DEX offering, which, back then I think wasn't as common for companies that have raised as much capital as they have. But, those that do a DEX offering believe they have a very strong, committed user and loyal user base. So props to them for taking that approach. Pretty detailed set of use cases. Again, I think what we'll see is it's more of a chicken and egg situation, right? For these use cases to really make sense, you need to have a strong user base. So, and a strong user base is also difficult to maintain when your token price drops almost 60x, which is obviously a major challenge. But all of these areas are quite interesting, and it looks like they are, continuing to evolve the product and try and find the better use cases that the users want. Yeah, I think this is a great example. So we won't go into this, but I think they've recently launched a new product called the Gari bot, which essentially lets you, it's a trading bot for the Solana and Aptos networks. Their user numbers are, phenomenal when listed here. 200 million plus downloads, 125,000 plus daily on-chain users. It's just, are they being able to maintain this? And, it must be tough because users right now expect to make money. And when your token drops as much as theirs have, it's a challenge. Their website is interesting. Looks like they've added in a dating feature. I wonder what that's going to be like. I assume their core market is India. But I'm sure that's also changing. They've got a pretty strong set of exchanges with their token. Wow, so they've got over 7 million on-chain wallets with Chingari. More on Aptos than Solana now. Aptos has been making some pretty strong headwinds, especially in India. There's a gentleman leading their India operations, Naresh, who I give major props to. I think he's done a phenomenal job. Our mission is to institutionalize the space and promote the growth, advancement of the underlying ecosystem and technology behind digital assets and blockchains. Sumit. Okay. It's a pretty strong mission. Just to go back quickly, I think Aptos also recently announced a $10 million funding round of one of the largest gaming networks in India as well. So they're making a lot of inroads with the Indian market. So with all of that said, I think we can now get started on the deep dive for this week's product, which is none other than Chingari, founded by a few people, including a gentleman called Sumit Ghosh. They were kind of the first movers in this space of bringing Web3 tech to the content creation space. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, let's start our deep dive into Chingari. Pretty good. They have a large set of languages, primarily Indian regional dialects. So I guess they are certainly still focused on India. Wow, so I only see dating in general up there. Let's check out the dating section in a bit. Okay, they have a check-in feature, typical gamification. I like that you can log in using non-Web3 wallet ways, so that's positive. And for getting 1 billion users on, you can't expect everyone to start their own crypto wallet at this stage. It looks like to register, all you need is just to put a name and a birth date if you use Apple or Google. And now it looks like you can apply now to become a creator super easily, which is positive. Democratizing the creator onboarding is a great approach. Okay, I got my daily check-in. If dating is the first thing you see on the app, I guess that's what they're prioritizing. Yeah, this is a bit disappointing. It looks like there's no live rooms in the general section. There's this call feature, so I guess you can speak directly to creators for a certain cost. I mean, would I use it? No, but increasing the opportunities for creators to make some money is probably pretty positive. Just checking out this creator, you can see the gifts received, gifts sent, you can see posts from him. Definitely an Indian focus from what I can tell with creators as well. You can see the rooms he's in, so that's a little bit, reminiscent of Clubhouse. But I have to say, this is giving me, chat roulette vibes as well, which is not great. I have to be honest, the user numbers on these audio rooms are really not great. I'm trying to enter one of the rooms. Honestly, I don't think there's anyone speaking in this room either. I mean, there's only 8 people here, so I'm not sure what anyone would speak with. Actually, now that I look at it, I'm the only non-admin in the room. I just sent a free gift. I could enable one-click gifting, but that sounds a bit dangerous for me personally. I have to say, this is a bit disappointing. I mean, they seem to really be pushing me to purchase some diamonds, but this goes back to what I was saying, right? I mean, once you start at such a high level and then your token, your volumes, your user numbers drop, it's really hard to get people back on the platform. So this is definitely challenging, but respect to the leadership and the team. I think most of them have been sticking around and they're definitely ideating new products. Okay, this seems like my social media feed. Let me just test out a post here. So, I mean, ideally I'd like to see some things in my feed already, but even when I post, I don't see anything. So I have to say this is slightly disappointing. Honestly, it seems like this call feature is the most stuff going on, but even there's only like 10 or 12 options. This games thing is something they've been pushing up, so let's try and see how quickly we can play a game of Ludo. There was an option to kind of play for diamonds. I'm not sure. The regulation around gambling online is quite unclear right now globally. And what really defines gambling versus skill-based gaming, right? Okay, well, I will say I got teamed up with someone quite quickly. So it does seem like there are people you can play with. I do enjoy a game of Ludo, but don't worry, I'm not going to make you all sit through it. I just wanted to see where we currently, like how the usability of the game is. It's quite good. I mean, there's no lag or anything like that, so that's pretty positive. Okay, we did drop here, but I think that's my Wi-Fi. It's not the app's issue. Yeah, okay, let's leave that. So, okay, that's pretty interesting. Unfortunately, there's only one single game room I see. So I just tried to go into it and it loaded fast, but there's like 3 people here, right? An admin, a host, and me. So I don't know what exactly the purpose is here. I'm checking out my wallet. I've got like 0.0013 Chingari or Gari somehow, but I don't know how, and it's not showing up on my transaction history. So look, they are definitely innovating on ways to reward creators, but I mean, currently it's just different types of virtual assets. I don't know if the creator is getting any significant value from this. Obviously not, right? If there's not that many creators, but look, all of these Web3 products are in an early stage. I think we're still developing the right modus operandi and what works. Okay, let's give this dating thing a try before we wrap up. Not like there's many options. Okay, that's a bit worrying, I guess. First of all, I can't leave, and I definitely gonna have to block out the audio there because that is definitely not safe for work. So yeah, it's a little unfortunate. User numbers aren't there. Content's not the best. I think they're still trying to figure out product market fit and what'll work. I think the majority of the users mentioned on DApp Radar are probably trading the token in some shape or form because I'm not really seeing that many rooms here or content creators. Again, I will say though that I'm not in India right now, so maybe there's some geo-locking going on. All right, so I think that brings us to an end of the deep dive on Chingari. Look, clearly there isn't that much content to see on the app. The user numbers are just not there, and I think, and like most social media platforms, what I was saying earlier, it's a chicken or egg, right? You need great content creators to get more users on, and you need more users to get great content creators on. I think Chingari probably had some success in the early months of their launch because they had significant volumes on their token. But in the bear market with 600K volumes, it's a challenge. And I give a lot of respect to the team to continue trying to innovate and find the best solutions, or the best products to put in place that will get them the traction they had earlier. So anyway, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. Looking forward to catching you all next week. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any feedback, I'm always happy to speak one-on-one, or you can even send a public comment, and I'm happy to respond to it. Thanks so much for your time. Take care. Bye.